If you're a fan of cinnamon rolls but are looking for a quicker, healthier option, here is your recipe. After cleaning up my morning dishes, I simply filled up this little canister with water, heated it so it's nice and warm to the touch. You want it about 120 degrees or so. Then I added a little bit of sugar and the yeast so that it could bloom. You want it to set for about 10 minutes or so and see a light little foam. Next, you start to add your flour. I added 1 cup at a time and then used my dough hook to gently mix it. You'll want to make sure to scrape down the sides before adding more flour. Here I'm also adding in some melted butter and some salt. Once again, you want to let it mix for a bit and then add your egg. Now go ahead and mix it again, making sure to stop it and scrape the sides. After this, you'll want to make sure to add in your last cup of flour and continue to mix it until the dough comes away from the side and it feels soft and fluffy to the touch. Here, I greased a bowl before putting all of the dough inside.
Are you going to put all the butter shake in there? Put all of it in there? I'm so excited to try your cinnamon rolls. Are you going to put sprinkles on them? I'm going to put sprinkles on them.
I'm going to put cinnamon and sugar.
Oh.
Icing.
And then icing.
Next, I covered the dough with some plastic wrap to let it rise for a while. After about 2 hours, I sprayed a baking mat as well as my rolling pin. This will prevent the dough from sticking. A lot of people recommend flour, but honestly, this is way easier. I then brushed the dough with some melted butter and sprinkled on this brown sugar substitute that is keto friendly, as well as sprinkled on the cinnamon. You want to leave about a 1/2 inch where there's nothing on it around the edges. And now start to roll it, making sure it's nice and tight and pressing in the edges because the dough will expand as you roll it. Here I was trying to lift the dough and move it back, but it obviously didn't work, so please do not try that. Next, I sprayed my pan and then I cut with dental floss through the cinnamon rolls. This works absolutely fantastically, so definitely give it a try. In this version, all of the cinnamon rolls were pretty close together, so it makes for a doughier roll once they're done. If you want them to be crispier, you can also put them on a baking sheet. While I let the dough rise for another hour, I began to make my frosting. After the rolls have risen a bit more, or if you had let them sit in the fridge overnight, preheat the oven to 350 and then bake for about 25 to 30 minutes. While the rolls were baking, I took the cream cheese and the butter and mashed it with a fork. Then I added a mix of powdered erythritol as well as some powdered sugar to finish the frosting out. I then whisked it together to make it nice and smooth before I would put it on the cinnamon rolls. After the rolls cooled, it's time to whip it up a little bit more before just gently putting it on. My daughter wanted to add some food coloring to make it orange, so that's what we did as well. And now they are complete. Ridiculously tasty and a little bit gooey. I couldn't have been happier with the results. How is it?
Yum.
Good? Should I make these again?
Mm-hmm.
Every day? Way too much work.